Testing 1 2 1 2. Whew. All right, dude. Testing 1 2 1 2. All right, let's get the show on the road here. Wow, man. T-minus 5 minutes. Testing 1 2 1 2. Mm-hmm. The heck? There we go. Mm-hmm. Testing 1 2 1 2. Brought to you by Sadar. Thank you very much. All right. We got it going on here. There you go, everybody. Welcome and welcome to Geezy Truth News. Thank you very much, everybody. It is October 16th, 2019. That's right, everybody. Thank you very much for tuning in. It's we're back in action here, Geezy Truth News. We got a special guest on the show coming up here, and aside from that, that's the main thing. And we'll talk about all the updates and whatnots. But as far as I know, not a whole lot has happened. Apparently, the Democratic debate happened yesterday, Tuesday, last night. But as we all suspected, there's really not a whole lot happening. There's no surprise there. And as a matter of fact, you try looking for the debates and they're not there. It's hard to find them. Hard to find watching. So, what can I tell you? It's not looking good for the bad guys. So, what can I tell you? Let's take a look at some of the updates while we wait for our VIP special guest. Oh boy. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it. So, what can I tell you? Let's look at the headlines, huh? And let's see. Live updates. Trump disparages Pelosi at their first meeting since impeachment inquiry began. Democrats say. You know, again, most of this stuff is just fodder, and it doesn't really matter. Watch live. President Trump holds new conference with the president of Italy. Fantastic. Read Trump's letter to Turkey's president. It's now or never for Castro, Gabbard, Klobuchar, and O'Rourke. So the thing is that I tried to find little clips, but it's hard to find what's going on. So anybody who watched the debate, I mean, please call in and see, explain what you saw or what you got. But I tried looking for stuff. I couldn't find nothing. It sounds like what they were saying is that everybody was going at, Pocahontas. And that's about it. Everybody else is just, I mean, Bernie almost had a heart attack again. The beta O'Rourke guy is trying to take the guns again. Gabbard is the only legitimate Democratic nominee. And even then, I'm not a fan of career politicians. You know, she's a politician. Her father was a politician. So again, it's all the same bull sneezy, and we've been talking about all that stuff for decades. So it is what it is. So, everything is apparently business as usual. You know, the market. Last I checked, the market is still there. Everything is doing the way that it's going. I don't know what to tell you. Couldn't Q's out of the loop. Who knows what's going on with that? And let's see. I'm sure there's something else to talk about. But okay, 22 points was 22-point drop in the Dow Jones Industrial Average today. So not a big deal. Looks like Donny Boy yelled at Erdogan saying, "Don't be a fool." Trump tells Turkey's Erdogan in a brash letter urging Syria deal. Again, I mean, where's the Carfax? You know, what's up with all the sneezy here? Nothing special. And let's take a look. Oh, and of course, we haven't talked about this in a while, but as always, we always got to talk about it. Is, the main two things, what we're doing here for. What is the purpose of all this? We're ending pedogate and ending the Federal Reserve. That's what we're doing. We're trying to, and they go hand in hand, as we all know. So anybody who doesn't know, now you know. That's what's going on. End the pedogate, end the Federal Reserve. They both go hand in hand. They're doing the same thing. It's all a bunch of massive corruption. All these guys are just clowns. So it is what it is. Let's see if we can find... Let's see what Donny Boy is saying. Not a whole lot, huh? This president is the most patriotic president I've seen in many years. He is going to do what is good for Americans. And that was Congressman Brian Babin, Texas. Thank you, Brian. So there you go. And then what is this? Oh, this is recent. It's 48 minutes ago. Donny Boy saying, Nancy Pelosi needs help fast. There is either something wrong with her upstairs or just plain doesn't like our great country. She had a total meltdown in the White House today. It was very sad to watch. Pray for her. She is a very sick person. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, If the Prez himself is saying that, I mean, what are you gonna do? And I'm tired. It's been 4 years. It's almost been 4 years. Let's get the show on the road. Let's get these whippersnappers out of the office and into the jail cell, right? All the massive corruption and the satanic pedophiles and all that stuff. So, and again, no word about the Epstein thing. It's amazing. They closed the case. No one's talking about it. Everybody knows what the scoop is. I mean, nobody's hiding anything anymore. So, it is what it is. And now looking on... oh, yeah, and then we haven't done that in a while, but let's take a look. It appears that my technical engineers are telling me that there may be technical difficulties on tonight's show. And so, thank you, sound engineers and audio engineers and all that great stuff. We're just, Tom and Jack over there twiddling on the dials and making everything work. So, thank you. We were having a hard time setting up today, so I don't know what's going on, but you know what it is. These Illuminati Khazar people are in their last breath. And Bitcoin, taking a look at the crypto market over here, it's at hovering at $8,027.09. It was a slight drop today of 2.18%. And let's see let's take a look at other headlines, shall we? I'm not blanking on what there's not a whole lot. All of this stuff is just what we've all been figuring out is that they say about all these crazy stuff, but nothing actually ever happens. But we're getting the ball rolling. People are waking up. People are figuring it out. So it is what it is. And, people are waking up. Hey, the more people that I talk to, the more people are familiar with the Rothschilds and the crazy corruption that's running rampant and all this stuff. And we all know that Democrat, Republican, doesn't matter who you are. I mean, these people are sick people. These people are very sick, as Donnie Boy was saying. So, and I don't know what else is going on, but apparently there's a lot of stuff going in Cali and the massive outages and this and that. So let's take a look. October 16th, massive Verizon outage across the U.S. as data, texting, and calls fail, and no word about when the issue will be resolved. And then again, the "don't be a tough guy" remark. Michael Rivero's comments. I highly suggest looking at whatreallyhappened.com. And also, we're about to have Kevin Annett on the show, the one and only. And his website is murderbydecree.com. And we'll have all that info available. So, let's see. Michael Rivero's comment on the Donnie Boy Erdogan situation. I'm sitting at my desk here and having a palm to forehead moment at warp speed upon reading this. That President Trump believed that he could influence Erdogan by insulting him painfully demonstrates a reckless professional idiocy writ large under his watch. This is really painful to watch a president of the United States behaving in this manner and actually thinking he could save the day by doing so. Well, I don't know what to say. Nobody knows. It's nice to have all these pundits talk about everything, and it's nice to just pundit around. But the fact of the matter is we don't know what's going on. We don't know what's up there. We don't know what all this chess making is going on. So who knows? All we know is that December 21st, 2017, Donnie Boy wrote that he wrote that the executive order, and it was a big deal. It was pretty much talking about the pedogate stuff and all this stuff. So hopefully, I mean, this stuff, they're working on it. Apparently, they're working on it. We'll see. Who knows? All we know is that we got to pay close attention. There's a lot of fluff going on. There's a lot of weird fluff going on. So I couldn't tell you what's. All I can tell you is, hey, we got to pay attention. So, Russia patrols. Oh yeah, and then I also heard about that. Is that the Saudi Arabia Russia thing? Is how apparently Donnie Boy gave a lot of the. He hooked up Putin. Apparently, from what I read, is that he hooked up Putin a really great deal with the Saudis, And now gas is rising. I don't know if anybody else has been noticing. People are complaining. I mean, I'm going over here, taking a look at the gas prices, and it's almost $5. I mean, it's like Supreme, or the premium is like almost four, what is it, 4.39? I'm pretty sure I saw last time. So it's big stuff, big stuff. So what's going on? Let's see what's up with this. So yeah, and I don't know if we talked about that, but it's all the same. It's all the same stuff. But the Turkish invasion, talking about the Syria thing. I mean, look, people complain about a lot of things, but we can all agree that less war, the better. We don't need a World War III. Who knows what kind of schemes that all these satanic pedophiles are running, or who knows what kind of schemes that they're trying to pull. Nobody knows. So it's good that people complain that Donny Boy got out of the war, or he finally pulled all the troops out of Syria. Well, fantastic. It's about time. So the less war, the better. And I don't care what anybody says. So that's the reality, folks. That's the reality. So Israeli defense engineers reveals why Saudi defenses failed to repel Aramco attacks. It's just it's constant stuff. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like we got the show on the road here. Hello, Kevin and Annett, and welcome to Geezy Truth News.
Hi, how are you?
Fantastic. How are you doing?
Just fine.
Well, thank you very much for calling in. It's we wanted to just talk and see what's going on. What are the updates? All that good stuff. What's going on?
Sure. Well, for the last while, since June really, a big focus of me personally, and a lot of the work we do is being in Canada, because Prime Minister Trudeau announced on June 4th that he admitted that genocide had occurred in Canada. It was passed off by the media. They didn't really focus on it, but the astounding thing about that is that when a head of state admits to a crime like genocide, under international law, there has to be not just an investigation, there's got to be what the word is, prosecution and punishment in the UN Charter on Genocide. So the fact that that isn't going on is another lesson to people all over the world that the UN conventions, they're just sham treaties. They don't have any binding power. And that Western powers like Canada can commit genocide with impunity and never be held accountable. So that meant that when the election was announced, that there's going to be a Canadian election on October 21st, I and four other people announced our candidacy to run on a platform of disestablishing Crown authority in Canada, because the British Crown and its sponsor in the Vatican were the architect and the force on the ground causing this massive genocide of hundreds of thousands of children in recent times, and many millions of Native people before that. And, this ongoing genocide. So we've been running on a campaign in the election to really act on a mandate of the majority of Canadians. 58% of them want a republic. They don't want any more ties to the British Crown. So we're the only group that's acting on that. All the political parties take an oath of allegiance to the Queen, not to the people of Canada. So we think it's high time for this kind of colonial system to end. And that, for me, has brought together a lot of these issues recently. And we've been kind of campaigning on that basis.
Well, fantastic. So what's are there any new actual recent arrests or anything? I know that the biggest deal that I knew of was the arrest of what was his name, Cardinal Pell.
Yeah, that was a while ago. That was like last year. In terms of the Vatican stuff, it's like you're not going to really get information by following the corporate media, because they work hand in glove all the time.
Of course.
With these criminals, the church and state did not really tell you what's going on. But the total thing about Pell is that, like, he was part of the old faction around Ratzinger, and the present faction around Bergoglio is so-called Pope Francis, as making it look like it's the Ratzinger group that's responsible for the child rape and all this stuff, and they're using it as a political weapon. But the reality is that you can't be in that system and not be implicated. Bergoglio himself was doing this stuff in Argentina as an archbishop. One of the things we learned from a Dutch journalist who works with us, Alice Sturr, she found out that President Pope Francis has had a long relationship with the present Queen of the Netherlands. Her name's Maxime Zoriega. And her father was in the military junta in Argentina that Bergoglio was such good friends with when they were killing tens of thousands of Argentine citizens. He's been receiving money from her for a number of years, according to Alice Sturr, and whether it's hush money or whatever. So, I mean, when we first began to discover the Ninth Circle sacrificial cults in Europe and the use of children, there were strong ties linking that to the Dutch royalty. This Maxima Zuriega, who's the present Queen of the Netherlands, ties with, Bergoglio are direct. And so, I mean, all of this evidence keeps coming up. It's always a question of what are people going to do with it? How are they going to act on it when the authorities themselves are all complicit?
Exactly, and this is the biggest thing, because I don't know if you heard much about that Jeff Epstein case. I kind of wanted to talk to you about that a little bit as well, because I mean, this pedophilia stuff is getting out of control, and it's more and more people are waking up to it. And 10, 20 years ago it may have been a conspiracy theory, but now all of this stuff is unfolding like hotcakes.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's one of the reasons that in a lot of the work we do, we say to people, you've got to do this in your own communities. You've got to protect the children. You've got to perform the citizen arrest, form your own common law courts like we've done to try these people, and try to get the authorities on board. In America, the local sheriffs are elected by the community, and they're accountable to the community. They're not, working for the government. Mm-hmm. And so we often try to invite the local sheriffs to our training workshops and get them on board with us. And of course, in Canada, we don't have that, but you've got an advantage in America, the fact that that's already there. And another, startling proof of the corruption of the whole regime is just a couple of weeks ago, here's an example from Canada, the head of the Supreme Court, Beverly McLaughlin, actually announced that there had been nothing wrong with genocide in Indian schools, and the Supreme Court allowed the destruction of any evidence related to people's testimonies about residential schools. So here's the top lawmaker in Canada. This is like the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court saying it's okay to destroy evidence from a crime scene. It's amazing what they get away with now, and yet people all say the same thing. When I was campaigning, every day I'm campaigning, and I talk to people, I say, well, look, we need a republic. We've got to take power back into our own communities. The authorities are part of the crime. They say, yeah, but you do it first, and then we'll get on board, kind of thing, right? Like there's that fear of going up against the authorities, right?
No, of course. Yeah, it's staggeringly dangerous what's going on, and that's the whole problem. I mean, with the Jeff Epstein case, I mean, they literally, I mean, it was so bogus and so ridiculous. I mean, the guy allegedly got killed. I don't even believe that he got killed, but he was on suicide watch, and then he disappeared, and nobody knows where he went, and now they closed the case, and this guy was like a billionaire, blah, 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 and I mean, the list just goes on, and they said he had like Mossad links and, alphabet agency links. I mean, it's just crazy how, like, you can't make this stuff up, and then, they just threw it all under the covers.
Well, part of that is, like we learned from 9/11, that psychologically what people do when they want to keep power is they have to have everyone convinced that there's nothing they can do, that these people are beyond the law, and the effect that has psychologically on people is, oh, well, they got away with it again, let's just put our nose down and try not to get in trouble, and it has the effect of getting people to become even more afraid and cautious about taking these people on. So I think we've got to be careful about the way these stories are used psychologically against us, and we have to say, in a way, kind of ignore all this shit, know what we need to do in our communities and act on it. And once you start that momentum going, it creates kind of a counterweight and gives people some hope that, yeah, there are things they can do. We've had victories. I mean, we even brought down popes. Of course, Canada ready to admit genocide. That's all because of grassroots action, not because anybody in authority helped us.
That's right. So tell us more about Canada's situation. You're saying that you're about to have an election there?
Yeah, I mean, it's a real farce, of course. Like,
Yeah.
the thing most people don't realize about Canada is that there never was any kind of accountable government. Like, at least in the States, in theory, it may not work that way in practice,
Right.
but at least the original idea was that you had checks and balances. You had three levels of different systems of government that might act as a brake on each other. That you had separation of church and state, right? You had due process under the law. None of that exists in Canada. There's one guy who's the government. He's called the Governor General. He's appointed by the Queen, and he is the official head of state. If he wants to remove the government, he can. He can just nullify anything the government does. It's the old colonial system. Most of the laws are never even debated in Parliament. They're passed what's called order in council, where the Privy Council gets together and writes up a bunch of laws. It's all kind of done by proclamation, never any debate or democracy or anything. Also, if you're elected a member of Parliament, you take an oath of allegiance to Queen Elizabeth and her descendants, not to the people. So I say to people, it doesn't matter who you elect to that Parliament, they're serving a foreign power, not you. And that's reason alone not to do it, not to vote. But what we're asking people to do is form, and we've had success in doing this in some areas of Canada, we're getting them to form local people's assemblies that act like legislatures, that can pass laws, that can appoint common law sheriffs and courts, really to take back the power. And there's lots of examples of history of how that's done, including from America. I remember reading about the very first thing, even before the shots were fired at Lexington and Concord, people in New England, they'd go into courts and they'd chase out the crown judge, chase him out of town, and they'd burn all the mortgage records. They'd just take over the local courts and say, we don't want crown authority anymore. It's gone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think we got to do that more and more, because it doesn't matter what country you're in. We're living under this corporate system where there's no accountability, and everybody knows it. We keep running into that all the time. So we need new grassroots democracy, and that's what really is an answer to a lot of this stuff, I think.
Yeah, you're damn right about that. And so, what are people showing up? I mean, how are these events looking like? Are more and more people waking up and doing this, or what?
Well, yeah, we've had. I'll give you an example. There was where I'm from. It's a city called Winnipeg, which is north of where North Dakota is. It's like in the prairies.
Mm-hmm.
And we held a meeting there, and about 50 people showed up. These are a lot of poor people, a lot of Native people, and 22 of those folks signed citizenship cards. They said, yeah, I want to be part of the Republic. So they took up citizenship. They can show these cards, and they say, we're under the jurisdiction of the Republic. You cops can't touch us. We've gone around to the police and tried to deputize them to start working for the local Republican Assembly. They're planning to do what are called reclamation projects, where they go into the community and they say, look, we've got to start cleaning up the streets. We've got to start getting rid of the drug dealers here. And they're starting to do it. They just need an example. And once people see an example of something that works, they get on board. So we're trying to replicate that, around the country. And it's funny because the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, I mean, they're this paramilitary police force. They're really outside the law. And even these guys, I remember one day we were handing out our stuff, and this Mountie pulled up, and he said, oh, yeah, you guys are the ones wanting a republic, right? And I said, yeah. And he said, good luck. Good luck to you. But he was serious, he waved. And so, there's a lot of sentiment. Majority of people want this. We just have to act on it, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, it sounds like common sense, and I'm surprised that there's not more people on this. I mean, we all know, like you said, everything is corrupt and all these jokes, Trudeau's probably going to win again, right? Is that the assumption?
Well, probably either him or the conservative guy, but it doesn't really matter because the answer to the state boss, the Crown Authority, and they're
because they're puppets, and they're all puppets. Right? It's the same thing here. I mean, someone's pulling the strings, and it's not us.
Yeah, and so it's time to cut those strings. And
yes.
People have a lot of power when they start acting. But we're like a sleeping giant, you know. We don't know we have the power until we start acting on it.
Exactly.
And got to give an example to show people how, right?
I'm hoping Donald Trump, the election of Donald Trump showed the Canadian people that it's possible. And not that that even means much, because, you know, Trump is a bad guy like the rest of them. We're just hoping that he's less bad. But getting the first non-politician, I mean, first you got to get rid of the politicians, but we finally at least got the first non-politician up in office. That's a step up. My theory is I don't think we're ever going to I don't think we're going to get a politician back there again, and because people are waking up and realizing the corruption. So I think it's just baby steps. Like, okay, we got a non-politician. He's still maybe kind of a scuzzy guy, but it's all steps to the process. And I'm hoping for Canada that they see that and hopefully elect also the first non-politician and so on and so forth. What do you think?
Well, you know, you got to have a system that's run by the people themselves.
Yeah.
And, you know, even in the States where I think there's more of a tradition of a republic there in your constitution and everything, you still got things like this electoral college where it's not the people who elect the president, it's a bunch of people you never see.
Right.
You know, the electors. And, you know, the thing about in America is Tom Jefferson and those guys wanted to keep the republic, but the Federalists under John Adams said, no, we need a system like the British. You need a king, he's the president. You need the House of Lords, that's the Senate.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Congress is the Parliament, right? And they modeled it on that monarchical system where he said, you know, the elites know what is best for the people. That's why you need the Electoral College, you know, to correct the vote if they vote the wrong way, or, you know, appointed Supreme Court justices or any of that stuff. I mean, it's still got all that trappings of monarchy in it, right? And we got to go back to that. I think Jefferson had the right idea. You know, he said America needs a revolution every 20 years. That's the only way we're going to keep the republic. You know?
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. Amen to that. It's like it's like one step at a time. You know, we can only just keep at it, keep plugging away.
Well, I like coming to the States all the time because I mean I'm half American. My dad's from New Jersey, and I should mention to folks, if you go to Amazon and put my name in Kevin Annett, you'll see I've written 16 books about all this, but I wrote one recently called The Border, and it's about what it's like to be half Canadian, half American, right? And trying to write in a more humorous vein, but one of the things you notice in America is whenever you talk about taking on authority, people are really interested, right?
Mm-hmm.
In Canada, it's like you say, oh, I took on the church and the government, and they all kind of walk away, oh, this guy's some kind of traitor or subversive. And in America, they say, oh, great, you know, it's like you took on the government. People don't have that fear about, you know, saying, well, I think it's the way we're raised. Like, you know, in America, you're taught you're a citizen of a republic. In Canada, the language they use is you're a subject of the crown, right? You're like a slave, and you don't have the right to say no to the government. You know, it's like really backward thinking.
Does the Prime Minister or the government of Canada ever talk about leaving the crown?
No, they don't dare to.
Wow.
I think one of the politicians, party leaders, said, "Well, a British crown is kind of an anachronism." Well, then why the hell are you taking oath of allegiance to it, right? You know, so they never dare to. It's kind of like the native leaders. There's a thing in Canada called the Indian Act, right?
Mm-hmm.
It governs all Indians. It says you're not a citizen, you're a ward of the state, right? Indians aren't even full citizens. None of the native chiefs want to get rid of that because they're all making a lot of money from it. You know, they got all these benefits from the government. It's the same with the politicians. They're all getting a lot of handouts and help from their loyalty to the crown. So they're not going to challenge that. We need to do it ourselves. And we find that when we take action, they follow. We can't look to them for anything, really.
Yep. All right, Kevin and Annett, thank you very much. Is there anything else? Any last thoughts or anything else new? Any wrap-ups?
Well, there's lots. You know, and the whole wider campaign about stopping child trafficking and that. I really urge people to go to our website, murderbydecree.com, and you go to one of the sections of it is called ITCCS Updates, and you'll see all the recent news about it, all stuff about our books. And every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern, I do a blog radio show, Here We Stand. So it's bbsradio.com/Here We Stand. And so, yeah, murderbydecree.com is the place to go to educate yourself on this. I spend a lot of time on the road giving talks and workshops, so if folks want to reach me, they can write to the Common Land, that's COMMON, common, the Common Land at gmail.com. And, yeah, we'll get it going in your neighborhood, because this is where our power lies. We got to take back the power in the neighborhoods.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Kevin Annett. Really highly respect your work and really appreciate all the hard work you do. Thank you very much.
Thanks, brother. We'll talk again.
Sounds great. Have a great one.
Okay.
Bye. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. The one and only Kevin Annett. Yeah, so everybody's plugging away. People are doing good. You know, we got Jim Fetzer. Speaking of which, that was a huge thing, is that the courts charged him. He's going to appeal, but they actually, you know, the guy, one of the alleged victims came at him and won the lawsuit for defamation, $450,000, but Jim Fetzer is going to appeal it. We'll keep you updated on that. But thank you very much, Kevin Annett. You know, all these great, you know, patriots, and more than that, people who care, people who are following along, people who are paying attention, people who are trying to figure it out. And, you know, it takes each and one of us. So, you know, keep at it. Thank you very much. We got Kevin Annett, got Jim Fetzer, got Michael Rivero, and a whole lot of great people out there plugging away, doing their thing. What can I say, ladies and gentlemen? We're doing our best here. So everybody just educate yourself. Like Kevin Annett was saying, go to your community, figure it out, see what you can. And yeah, it's hard, you know, because everybody's got it. They're pushing, you know, it's hard to live. So that's what they do. That's the plan. That's the whole planning. That they try to keep you busy with the sports and the gossip and all the yada yada, and they try, and the work and the modern day slavery and all this stuff. You have to be strong. You have to figure it out. You guys can do it. The good guys are winning. I think that wraps up today's show. Thank you very much. Geezy Truth News is out. Cha-ching.